like objections during closing arguments. So a lot of you are going to be thinking, why aren't they objecting? Defense lawyers are waiting to go up and point out the lie or however they're spinning it in their own closing argument and not object and interrupt them.
You can just hold.
Yes, Your Honor.
This has been a sloppy mess so far, man. The state needs to present a clear timeline of each defendant, each co-conspirator. Like, he's like all over the place.
What else can you use? Remember we talked about circumstantial evidence? Circumstantial evidence inferred from the nature of the acts done, relation of the parties, and the interest of the conspirators. What do they have to gain? Is it for something to further the group's interest? How do you know someone agrees? Look at what they do. And I argue to you that the evidence has shown that they've all knowingly...
And it's in
Collaboration is key for team success. With ClickUp, you can easily manage your team's tasks and timeline.
furtherance of the gang. That is not the reason why they have a YSL tattoo on their face.
Kendrick, Stillwell, this is Demise McMullen. Now we'll talk about this in a minute. This is actually the photograph of when they shot Dexter Montgomery. Same case with D'Angelo White when they left that Jonesboro gas station in Lakewood and got to the four-way stop. That's the photograph of that. So you have Nard, but that's Demise McMullen, Shannon Stillwell, Kendrick. This is obviously the shooting. Overt act is did Jeffrey Williams rent the Infinity 250 and act in furtherance of the conspiracy. When you think about these overt acts, think how the criminal objectives. Ms. Hilton's going to talk to you and why Finn is there. That's not how it works in Fulton County. You don't lay low. Instagram from Jeffrey Williams, if I didn't like what you did for your mothers and kids, I would have been killed you. That's 2019. And then you have in 2020, coincidentally, Kendrick with slat and a snake on him standing on the same Mr. Bennett's car, right? A clear sign of disrespect.
Standing on that man's car. Disrespect.
Not only do they shoot at his
Right now, they're trying to keep pistols.
they do keep pistols and they do light people up, which means shooting at them. What is YSL about? I said the deception. You have the flash and the fame and the lifestyle, and it's all a joke. And then you have the reality of YSL street gang members exacting violence on members of their own community repeatedly over the years with impunity. The intimidation. I think y'all all know well what we've shown and walked through, the violence publicly about witnesses who come in and testify, the way that people get YSL amnesia, as I call it, when they sit in the witness stand and they can't remember entire years of their life. It's not believable, except there's real fear and there's real trepidation to coming into a court and testifying. Destruction, I don't have to go on this long. It clearly has, their actions and crimes have destroyed pockets of the communities in multiple communities in Fulton County.
All right, the legendary Max Sharp. Closing arguments, boys. Here we go.
Accusations are easy to make. Allegations are easy to wage. And this indictment has plenty of both. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between making allegations and proving them in court beyond a reasonable doubt to the citizens of Fulton County. It's a different matter entirely. The state has spent the past year with a hammer in their hand, banging on a square peg that they call evidence. Banging, 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 trying so hard to fit that square peg into the round hole that they call their narrative, their theory. And the reality is that square peg does not fit in that round hole. It never fit. The state hasn't proven their case, and they certainly haven't proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. In this indictment, the state accused Shannon Stillwell in count 1 of conspiring to violate the Georgia RICO Act. He did not. They have not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to ask you to find Shannon Stillwell not guilty. In count 2, the state alleged that Shannon Stillwell on January 10, 2015, shot and killed Donovan Thomas. He did not. The state hasn't proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to ask you to find Shannon Stillwell not guilty of count 2. In counts 49 through 54, the state has alleged that Shannon Stillwell on March 14, 2022, shot and killed Shamel Drinks. He did not. The state has not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to ask you to find Shannon Stillwell not guilty. I want to acknowledge you, the jurors. I want to acknowledge the immense time commitment that you have given this case. I want to acknowledge the sacrifice to your family, the sacrifice to your job, the sacrifice to your vacation plans, the fact that you have been paying close attention to this case. And for that reason, I'm going to try to avoid rehashing every piece of evidence. I'm going to try to be as direct and concise as possible. Essentially, they're saying he conspired to acquire, maintain directly or indirectly an interest in and control of United States currency and other personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity. And while associated with an enterprise, did unlawfully conspire to conduct and participate in, directly and indirectly, such enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. And that is the state's use of quote-unquote expert.
Let's go. He's diving in with gang expert. Because I hope all of you watching this realize a gang expert is complete horseshit.
Specifically, the gang investigators that they have called. We heard GGIA, Georgia Gang Investigators Association. We heard that a lot, about how there's 20 members. Remember, and we asked about what your training is, and they say, well, I go to the 2-day seminar every year. GGIA, there's 20 members. And then we learn who teaches at these seminars. Remember Detective Underwood? Remember Detective Underwood? And Detective Underwood was a nice lady. But she was sent up here. They wanted her to testify about the intersection of gangs and music. And she clearly wasn't qualified. She knew almost nothing about music. But she said, yeah, I'm qualified because I think I did a 2-hour block a couple years ago on that. I think Viverito taught that class. So now Viverito is the teacher. So I asked her, I said, oh, very interesting. You took a 2-hour class a couple years ago in this subject, and that makes you an expert, okay? Did you guys hear from any experts in Black history, Black art, any literature professors, anyone that has studied hip hop, anyone from the hip hop community, anyone from the community at large, when you guys all meet, the 20 of you, to talk about gang stuff at this seminar? Nope. It was just Investigator Viverito. Okay, what about scholarly reports? Nope, just Investigator Viverito.
So they all